Miranda was friends with one of my model Illinois government people. It's like, how the hell do you know Ryan? And her response was, how the hell do you know Ryan? Well, I know him through Mick. How do you know him? And that spawned this idea that we can be connected to people we don't even know through something as simple and as basic and as necessary as it is now through Facebook. So I started to think about it, and as I started to think, the concept went from thumbtacks on a wall with strings, kind of like trying to solve a murder mystery, through what you see before you right here. And looking at my Facebook friends, there's definitely a lot of very visible different groups. My model Illinois government people, my Tori Amos people, my YMCA friends, my Neil Gaiman people, Lincoln Land, UIS, Jacksonville, Springfield, and unfortunately home, which, yeah. So in thinking, because we all know I think way too much sometimes, I started coming up with whys. Why am I friends with this person? Why am I friends with that person? We didn't speak when I was in high school. Why do I feel the need to have this person as my Facebook friend? Which led into why do we feel the need to have people that we don't interact with as our Facebook friends? So it's kind of a sociological experiment as well. The majority of the people on the wall, about 70% of them I actually talk to and know and can tell you something about their lives. 29%, they added me, I didn't want to feel bad, which is a question in and of itself. And then 1%, I have no idea how the hell they even got on my friends list. We don't have anything in common, we don't have friends in common. And it just kind of went from there. So there's a lot of questions that this show, at least for me, asked. A lot of people have been asking about the colors. The colors are significant. They denote the connections that my friends have with each other. For example, burgundy would be anybody from Cobden or Southern Illinois, and I don't know why I'm friends with 90% of those people. As well as dark blue for YMCA, because that's the color of the uniforms that we wear. And I was amazed at how many friends I have that cross into different categories. There was somebody that I met through Bree in February that's been on my friends list for 5 years, and one of my Tory friends for about 6 years. Had no idea that she even existed until your party in February. So it was really interesting and really fascinating. And the web that was created is just, I think it's absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I loved the idea of taking something that doesn't exist. It's not tangible, you can't touch it. You can't take away your computer, take apart your computer and find your Facebook friends. They're in cyberspace. They're not in three-dimensional space. We can't touch, we can't feel, we can't smell, we can't taste. And I really liked the idea of translating that into something that was tangible, where you could follow the lines and see, oh wow, I'm really connected to all of these different people. And yeah, March I almost died, so this is a big thing for me. It's a dream come true, and I want to thank all of you for coming out and seeing it. A lot of you are actually in this. Hannah Lynn, you are. After much debate with your mother about whether I should add you on Facebook or not, just because of my political proclivities, but you already knew that. So, yeah, any questions?
I have a question. So does each one of the hexagons represent a specific thing? It attaches one to another?
It does not. I chose the hexagon shape specifically because Facebook is a way that we receive news and receive information. We're constantly giving and taking and giving and taking and giving and taking. And in the history of bees, I don't know if any of you guys know about bees, but thanks to Neil and Terry Pratchett and a couple of other people, I've become very fascinated by the inner workings, which is very much like this. In each honeycomb, we think it's filled with honey, it's actually filled with information. Pollen from this place, how far it is from this place, whether or not they crossed a bee colony. So I thought that that was a great form to take, especially thinking of it, as a buzzing hive. I'm the queen of my Facebook. All of my friends are giving me information about themselves, about their lives, about what's going on in their world, their opinions, their beliefs. So they're my drones and giving me information, and then flip-flop on their page, I become the drone and they become the queen. So, but the placement really didn't have a lot I thought it didn't have a lot to do. I thought it was kind of random at first until I started looking at what I was doing, and I'm very process-oriented when it comes to work. So sometimes what I'm doing doesn't really reveal itself until about halfway through, and I realize, oh, that's what I was doing. Kind of like at work, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing until I figure it out. And I started looking at the clusters and the different ways that we were putting them up and putting them together and comparing it to my Facebook friends. And I do have clusters of really close friends and then clusters of not so close friends. Like my Model Illinois government, it's the most incestuous group I have. It's really, really crazy. Everybody's connected to everybody else, and if you've been in the organization for 10 years, you have 200 different contacts with people. My Neil Gaiman group is like that, not so much. YMCA is spread out.
There's some here. Some here.
Okay, there's some YMCA people here? Who are some YMCA people? Do you know who they are? No? Would you like to ask who here is from the YMCA? Do you want to ask? You can ask.
What's your names?
So I became very, very fascinated with that. Hold on, I have to touch a belly. Oh,
Go
hello,
ahead.
Jenny. Hello, baby. Like this, I did not find out about this in person. I found out about this online. I'm like, why do you have a sonogram? I'm pregnant. What? Hello, baby. So, yeah, good question, Jill.
So why do you think people interact online with people they don't know?
For me, it really was finding people that had interests that were very similar to mine. I grew up in a really small town, like there were 33 people in my hometown. Not my hometown, my graduating class. I lived in a town that had 450 people in it. And if you didn't follow the norm, then you were ostracized or you were picked on. So when I started going on this trip to figure out who I was, a handful of people down there, and this is back in like 91, 92, knew who Pearl Jam was. Nobody knew who Neil Gaiman was. Nobody knew who Tori Amos was. So all of these interests that were becoming very influential in my life, nobody down there shared them. I'm like, all right, met this guy, he knew who Tori Amos was, and I knew who Front 242 were, and we've been married for 21 years. I think that it's easy to find people online that share things that you like and that you hold dear and that you hold true, and it brings us closer and it helps us feel, especially right now, it helps us feel less alone in a climate where we could all just become ostracized and not communicate with anybody else. In the last 10 years, there's been a tremendous growth in the amount of anxiety-driven disorders, ADHD, and a lot of mental disorders that people are learning to deal with. You don't deal with that on your own, you deal with that by going out and finding people that have gone through that experience that can mentor you. Being a survivor of rape and a fan of Tori Amos led me to a lot of the friends that I have now because I couldn't keep that bottled up. The flip side of that, though, is you can be who you want online. You can pretend that you're somebody and talk to somebody like you know them and bad things can happen, or you can hide behind this massive anonymity. I mean, South Park did a great job the last couple of weeks showing what it's like to be a troll or have somebody trolled online, and a lot of people think that it's fun. Well, a lot of people also react incredibly negatively to online bullying and things that are said to them online because there's no filter. You don't feel like there's any kind of consequence. So if I look at, who do I want to pick on? If I look at Amanda and say, you know, soccer moms are so stupid, I can't believe you would actually put your kid through that. Soccer's dumb, that's not a real sport, like a real sport. Somebody can see that and take it personally. And then you can just continue to pick on people and pick on people and pick on people. Case in point, what's been going on with the current election and Trump supporters attacking anti-Trump supporters, and the number of youth that have killed themselves because they don't feel safe. The number of trans kids online that have gone through horrible bullying via Facebook and Twitter and things like that, that have killed themselves because they don't see a way out. So it has its give and take. You have to use it, but people are starting to abuse it, and that is not.
So, you're not part of the Facebook or internet creators though, right?
Oh no!
Okay,
Oh no.
that's what I wanted to be clear. So, are you the first artist to come up with the breakdown or the demonstrations, the way you're doing with the strings and shapes and stuff?
When I decided to do a show like this, I did research online to see if anybody had done anything like this in this capacity. Come on in, guys, don't be shy, come on in. And I didn't find anything, which is made me feel good because I came up with an amazingly, I'm sorry, original idea.
No bridge.
I did, wow, I didn't have to say anything.
Unique idea.
Yeah.
Anna, is each screw a friend or is each hexagon?
Each screw is a friend. Each hexagon has 6 friends. The colors denote the connection. Yes, ma'am.
Would it be like there's 6 friends in this little group and so they kind of share each other?
Some of them turned out that way. Tori and I decided that we were going to randomly assign numbers and screws to each other or to throughout it. But you would be amazed how many Model Illinois government people were on the same hexagon, or YMCA people were on the same hexagon, or Neil Gaiman people were on the same hexagon. So even randomly, they still ended up together.
And so if there's more than 6 in the party, you would put them together in a hexagon in kind of a group. And
Not consciously, but that's really what ended up happening. Yes, Mr. Elliott?
so 6 times something equals a certain amount of friends.
Yep. So up here, there's 1,056 screws. No, 1,060 because we didn't take 4 off.
1,060?
1,060. Come on in, guys. Hi, please. Yes, you can touch the string, but don't push too hard.
How many strings you have?
Almost 6 miles worth of thread. Almost 6 miles worth of thread, and we know that because each skein was 1,500 yards, and we used almost 10 skeins worth.
What does that mean?
That means that you could drive from, oh, well, you don't know where Anna and Cobden are. From here to, I don't know, it's 5 miles away.
The cruising altitude of a 747.
When you fly, we have as much thread as it takes to get you up that high. Oh, come on, you guys have to have more questions.
So almost, I walk around and almost everybody's connected in some way, shape or form, whether it's by different colored thread or not. I mean, it's kind of amazing. You have a few screws that have a ridiculous amount of connections. Ridiculous amount of connections.
Marty Molosky, Zachary Sullivan,
You can find
Taylor.
What I find extraordinary about that is that the statement that makes one person makes one buzz. Now all those people have a buzz,
Mm-hmm.
and then those people are connected to these people, now there's a buzz, and you have an entire movement in this room, and people don't realize how powerful that is.
I know, and what do we use it for? We use it for sharing pictures of kittens, babies, and food.
Yay, kittens.
Yay, kittens.
Every person here is connected even if they don't know the other person.
Now, there are about 40 or 50 pegs that aren't attached to anybody, and I call those, for the kids, cover your ears, the what the fuck are you doing on my list people. Because I honestly have no idea what they are doing. Now, in like the last 3 or 4 years, I don't actively go out and seek friends. If somebody adds me, I like to see who we have in common. If I like who we have in common, then I will add them. Hi, Jacob! I see you. But I don't go out and actively search for people, which brings up a really interesting point. Why do we feel bad and feel like we have to friend people when they send us friends requests online? And to show you how weird the world is, I did not know that Jim Edgecombe worked with 3 people that I knew that I worked with at the Y. That blew my mind. Completely blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute, what? A, because I don't think of you like that, and B, it was a reality that was so far removed from mine, I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. So thank you for making my head go, yeah, because you did.
Which one's you? You have a clue?
I do not.
So,
I need to have one. We played about, or talked about having one, but I decided that it was more important to show my friends list than show me in my friends list. Come on in, guys.
So I came in late, and I know Anna personally, and I know you've been, talking about this for quite some time, putting it together, so, 2 questions. What was your inspiration, in case if I missed it, and 2, what are you hoping to, bring out of this?
Well, it started from an argument that Tori and I had back in 1999 when I wanted to go meet Tori Amos' friends up in Chicago. He said no, and I'm like, you can say that, but it's not gonna happen. And that just got me, and that was before social media and it being socially acceptable to go out and meet online friends and have online friends, because, you know, if you had coffee with somebody you didn't know, you're gonna end up dismembered in the local dumpster, and nobody was ever gonna know what happened. And what do I want people to get out of it? To answer that, I'm gonna tell you the 2 things that came out in the show that I did not take into consideration until we were putting it up. A, the shadows. I love the shadows, and the shadows are great. And all of the missed connections, because the threads, they go by so close, and some of them touch for a moment, and then some of them run parallel by each other, never touching. And that's really us in this society and in this community. We get so wrapped up in our own heads and in our own reality that you might not realize that you and Amanda have a lot of things in common. You're friends with me, but that's still not enough to make it cross over. So that to me is one of the most amazing parts of it. And knowing it and seeing it are completely 2 different things. Did that answer your question?
I have a question. How long did it take you to do this?
To put it up, took Tori and I 7 days. Tori, thank God for you. I love you so much. You did the majority of the work.
You just had me in here because I have my long arms.
I know I hate Chihuly, but I have a little more respect for him now that we've actually gone through this process. For those of you that don't know who Chihuly is, go to, I don't like him, but I don't like Picasso either, so. But we had 10 days from the time we were able to get in here to set up to the day the show opened. We didn't come in November 23rd, 24th, or 25th, because my birthday, Thanksgiving, and oh my God, I just want to die day after Thanksgiving. But we were in here quite a bit, for quite a bit of time, and did not fight once. I would like to state for the record. Yes, ma'am?
Is there any, when you chose the six-sided figure, the cutout, or
Mhm.
I don't know how you wrote
The
it.
hexagon.
The hexagon, was there any significance to that base choice?
Beehives,
I thought so.
beehives, very much so.
Yeah,
Kind of pulling on that.
that really reminds me of that.
I see that look, Jacob. Now you're thinking about it a whole new way, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you, Margaret Atwood. I was reading the Oryx and Crake series and the Tiffany Aching series by Neil Gaiman, and bees played a tremendous role in both series, and it just got me thinking. And people have been comparing the activities of humans to the activities of bees in sociology for a long time. I really liked the crossover, and I thought that it would fit and look awesome, and it does. So I chose well. Go me. Hi, Thea. Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, Bree.
Did you come across any pets?
Any pets? I did. I have a hawksbill turtle as one of my friends. One of my former professors from here, I'm friends with a cat all night. A couple of cats, some dogs. So, but they're still online friends, so they counted. I know, right? Yes.
Anna, I didn't realize this was yours.
Oh.
I've been looking at it all, Anyway, you said some of them didn't really hook up with any of the others? Okay. Have you considered that might be like Putin and the FBI? Those sorts.
I have not delved that far into the analyzation of it. Jen?
What are you gonna do with it when you take it all down? Are you just gonna crumple the threads up, or?
Well, no, somebody suggested, I can't remember, I think it was a member, suggested that when we go to take it down, I should ball the thread up and have the ball of thread be a piece in and of itself.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I came in, like I said, I came back and I caught part of, you mentioned a portion of your life was violated.
Mhm.
Have you had any thoughts with maybe sharing this concept, maybe within the realm of that subject matter?
Oh, no, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. I have been working on my idea for my next installation show, much to my husband's chagrin. And it's gonna be something along those lines. There's something in my past that I want to be able to share, especially with women, to help them heal that have gone through the same thing.
I think that would be something really significant, not only with women and children alike, because they would relate to you using the examples of social media and how we are all connected, because each one of these, what do you call them?
Pegs?
Pegs or the circle, hexagon, it could represent, so many different places, spaces, it could represent so many different things that I think it would have something really significant. Is today the only day this is gonna be here?
No, it's gonna be up through December 16th.
This would be good to reach out to those organizations.
Yes.
When I first saw this,
Mhm.
after you put it up, you didn't know it was yours. One of the things I would like to do is turn off all the lights and have see more lights coming up towards the ceiling, because again, just like people have said, the shadows are so interesting. And I think it would really be cool to see those shadows up on there.
If you go to that corner where Mare and Elliot are and look up, it is absolutely fantastically amazing.
I can see the colors more.
And one of the things that I learned way, way back when I was taking painting one, thank you, Tom, is you always turn your canvas. Whenever you're working on a painting, you always turn your canvas, so you don't get bored, you don't get locked into what you think you see. So you have to change your perspective so you can keep everything fresh, and that had been in my head during this. So at points in time, I would just stop and look up and get a completely different perspective with the different layers that are going up than with everything going out. Thank you, Tom. Jacob. What do the colors mean? All right, burgundy is for Southern Illinois people. Red is for Tori Amos people because, you know, redhead, Scarlet's Walk. Black is for my Neil Gaiman friends, which should be self-explanatory. Navy blue is for my YMCA people and my YMCA friends because that is the color of our uniform. Teal is the color for my Model Illinois government people because that was one of the brightest colors and I just thought that it was beautiful. Purple was chosen for two different things, and purple was chosen for a very specific reason. There's a song by Gogol Bordello called Start Wearing Purple, which came out of an argument that he had with his girlfriend. And apparently in their apartment complex, there's a crazy lady that wore purple all the time. So whenever she would act crazy, he goes, "Why don't you start wearing purple for me?" So I chose that for my Jacksonville friends and for my Lincoln Land friends, specifically because that was when I was my craziest and that's when I started to become sane again. So having two different colors of purple, to me, represented that change. Green is for my Terry Pratchett friends, which I only have two of, and I thought that was really odd. And yellow is for my family.
Do you know where specific people are on there?
I know where a few specific people are.
Is there a ride with up there?
Right now, no, but I will look it up and let you know. I can tell you where Marty Molosky and where Tori are. Good questions, Jacob. Elliot.
What type of wood is this?
Pine.
Whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
Did you stain the wood different colors?
Yes.
And then is the wood attached to each other, or are they all, like, you put them down, would they all be separate?
They would all be separate.
And how did you adhere them to the panels?
With two of the screws that were on the end, we actually utilized those. So not only are they for function, they are also for form.
So they're screwed into the panel?
Yes.
For plants, so they don't know what to do.
What?
For plants, so they don't know what to do. They get lost.
Oh, is it in case they get lost? Is that what you're asking, why there's strings? He wants to know if the strings are to help people because they got lost.
It's essential.
Get back.
You get lost.
That is a way deeper question than I think you were ready for.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about that all day long.
The short answer is yes.
Yes, yes. The threads are to help us find each other when we're
If you
on
get
the
lost, you can use your friends to find your way back.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the strings continuous? Like, does it go from one screw to another, or do you take like a blue string and go from this one to the next one to this?
Both.
Oh.
Both. We started out with the top panel over on the left, wait, the right. That was one of the first ones we did, and we just ran string connecting her to all the Neil Gaiman friends and tied it off. It went much faster when we started moving.
Was there a certain pattern that you put the people in?
Nope, it was totally random.
Totally random? And each screw was different?
Yes.
Did you group the people together on purpose?
No, that happened on its own. Guess I have too many Model Illinois government people.
Nice presentation.
They're grouped. It's really weird how they ended up being grouped. Oh shoot, cream is for UIS people. Thank you. Yeah. Where's the UIS love? Ida.
Tim has a question.
Yes, Tim?
You know the way I feel about social media in general.
Yeah, you're in here somewhere too.
Yeah. But, so, you freaked out while you were putting this together?
No, about the most freaked out I got was when I found out that Zaxton Leonard, who is friends with me from the YMCA, was friends with Travis Peterson, who I knew during that really weird time when I was a senior and was a Baptist.
And I kind of look at this and I'm like, oh, it's a data structure in 3 dimensions. It's points and vertices.
I will not give hugs to Jacob and Melissa.
Hannah, I did have, so you said you found some people that you were like, they're not connected to anything else and you don't really know them. So now what's gonna happen to them? Are they like?
Good question. I'm going to read out my friends list because of this, because there's no reason they need to be on there. They're not contributing anything positive that I want to be a part of or contributing to information to me or my friends.
Was there anybody in that group where you were like, why aren't we connected more? Were you like, maybe I need to reach out or other, you know, cause usually when you unfriend somebody, they don't really have any idea you unfriended them, so. Is there anything you just unfriend, it's anonymous, or anybody in that group that you would unfriend but tell them why?
One person that is not a part of this, I owe an explanation to for unfriending a lot.
Do you feel when you unfriend somebody, you owe an explanation at all?
I do. I don't know why.
And so you do feel like you owe
I
some
do.
information?
Or like when I unfollowed them, I mean, during the political season, there were a lot of people, believe it or not, that I unfollowed, just because I got tired of hearing about how Bernie Sanders fans were idiots, or that anybody that was on welfare was going to hell, and blah, 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 blah. So instead of unfriending them, I just kind of unfollowed them because I didn't, at that point in time, I did not need that kind of negativity. I was going through, and I'm still going through a period where I have to keep my heart rate down. If I don't, it can be really, really bad. And there were a couple of online arguments that caused my heart rate to go from 80 to 160 in about 2 minutes, which is not cool. So I decided just to cut that out of my life.
So last question for me, in finishing this, you finally made, because you know, you're coming through the wire all the time, it's like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm really proud of you. You finally got it, and you've done an excellent presentation, at least since I've been here, and I didn't expect anything less from you. But with that, did you find healing and forgiveness in this?
I did. I did. Especially with my family. I know I keep dogging them. But the last year, not my friend's family, but actual biological family had been really crappy and just not good people. And I decided that was okay. They don't have to be good people. Just because we're blood doesn't mean that I have to respect or appreciate them. And if they're going to do nothing but contradict me and put me down and go, you know, what are you doing with your life? You haven't done anything. You're still at the same dead-end job you've been in for 15 years. And not comment when I'm in the hospital dying, they don't need to be in my life.
So would you say a majority of these people that you're attached to bring you, I find with my Facebook, they're on my Facebook because they bring me some sense of joy. They bring me some sense of happiness. I enjoy reading their posts, even if it's a stupid cat video. I enjoy every single bit of it.
Bye, baby.
So, is that what this brings you? Do these people, after all of this, you sit back and you look at these connections, does this bring you the peace that you were hoping for?
In a really weird way, to go back to what Linda said, yes, and we can trace that. I mean, these are discussions that Tori and I have been having for years, basically, come to life. It's no secret that I wasn't popular in high school. I'm amazed that I made it through as unscathed as I did. as a matter of fact, but I can look up here, look around, and see the colors, and know, okay, Magdalene is there. Magdalene may only have 5 friends in common with me, but she would give me the shirt off of her back if I needed her to. The same with a lot of my model Illinois government friends. So what I see, oh, I'm gonna cry. What I see when I look at this is I'm looking at it through different lenses. I always try and view everything through different lenses and put my opinions through the ringers to see if they hold weight. The 14-year-old girl that just wanted to be liked can't believe that this many people like her. The scared girl that didn't feel like she had a voice when she started Lincoln Land has friends up here that started out as mentors and as teachers and are now peers. The shy little girl that never thought her debate skills were up to par is friends with people that she can hold her own on the Senate floor with. Some of them actual senators and representatives, or other people in government. So I see this as not only a visual, hey, you did a good job, kid. Your life isn't as screwed up as you thought it would be right now. You did good. And you've accomplished things that you never thought that you would. And this is what this is. I have friends up here from Greece and from Australia and from England. I'm friends with a major film director on Facebook that I talk to that has had films at the Toronto Film Institute, friends that are artists from all over the world. Caitlin Kiernan is one of my favorite authors. We're friends on Facebook. Mario Hornbacher, who wrote Wasted, a memoir of anorexia and bulimia, which I credit with helping save my life, is personal friends with me on Facebook. So I see accomplishment, I see truth, I see honesty, I see love. About 90% of anybody on these walls would do anything for me, but more importantly, I would drop everything that I was doing if one of them needed me and go to where they are, if it was within my power.
And your 16, 17, 18-year-old self, when you were in high school, all alone, would have never envisioned all of this.
Maybe 3 threads and that was it. And that would be Becky, Kim, and Julie.
But this is what the internet brought you.
This is what the internet brought me.
And this is what you also get to hold on, because one ping from you
Yep.
goes out.
Beep, 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 beep. Yep.
So that's huge, and that's I think, I have no words for how big that is.
Tori said it was ambitious. We didn't realize it was going to be this big.
And this is only part of it. This is only part of it.
This is only part of it, yep.
I was impressed before you even described what it was.
Yes, Jen?
Is there a reason that, or did you learn through the process, is there a reason they put that green in the wood? Like you just stated, like nothing's painted white, it's still relatively raw. Is there a reason for that?
It just felt right. And all of the grain is going the same way. We made sure that every panel, the grain is going the exact same way. Except for 2 panels that we had to change at the last minute.
And then you said, how many screws did you say?
1,060.
And then how many Facebook friends do you have?
1,056. At the time when we ran the master list, I've lost a few since then and don't know why.
So where does the extra four go?
The what?
You said you have 1,056 Facebook friends, so there's 1,060, where'd the other 4 come
like they never really truly go away, and that's that tangible thing that you still have.
In the disc world, there's a thing called the clacks, and it's basically just like a big, I don't even know what you would consider it, telegram. It's like big telegrams. And in this world, in the disc world, they have this thing called, when you're sending a clack, so if you put GNU in front of it, that means that it'll run down to the end of the clacks, and it'll turn around and run back up and live in the overhead forever, and as long as a name is still being spoken, that person is never dead. That person never leaves us, and I like that idea a